wanted to understand what you perceive as some of the key challenges currently in front of the big data analytics community. I see a huge dichotomy between people with the business management side and the analyst side struggling to come together and create an efficient organization that really adopts analytics into its fold as a pervasive element within the organization. What has been your experience in dealing with the two kinds of people?
What we've seen on the big data analytics front is kind of a twofold approach. One is to capture all the massive amounts of data that's available for a digital media company and to make sure it's available and reliable. The second half has been around kind of identifying some interesting use cases where you can illustrate the power of the big data itself. And in doing that, if you're very thoughtful with the selection of those use cases, you can actually generate a lot of excitement around it.
Whom do you need the training for? If you perceive a need, is it for the business managers, or do you also see training for analysts to relate better to business managers? Where do you see the need for training?
Depending on the role of the person, whether it's business manager or analyst, I'll have a different set. A business manager, for example, needs to be able to handle, be able to be somewhat comfortable working with traditional analytics tools and visualization tools. It could be simple ones, could be more complex, and so on. But they need to feel comfortable being able to navigate through, not necessarily an expert level, but the analysts, on the other hand, have to be able to mine the data and actually bring value from it. And that's a whole set of training needs in and of themselves. Ultimately, though, there's a degree of comfort that needs to be established, that they're comfortable with the technology and they're comfortable with the results.
Wonderful. So what do you see as the big challenges for the analysts as well as the managers?
To be able to show and illustrate the power of having a degree of analytics capability or analytics understanding, I think, is one of the key challenges. And probably many ways to try to solve that or make progress, but I think a lot of that kind of is a reflection of the tone at the top. If the folks at the top of the organization expect that kind of analytic thinking from their management and their managers, I think that will actually start to skew away and get a better blend of both the creative thought as well as the analytical thinking as well.
Do you think in future we will see analytics pervasive to the extent where you really need modelers as analysts? Rest of the analytics can actually be performed by the business manager themselves because of the technology available to them in terms of their own ability to look at data in different ways?
I think, and it's hard, there's a whole spectrum of answers in that, but I think on one end, you're always going to need, and you should have the modelers, the very advanced folks. They're finding things that you can't even anticipate asking questions on at this point in time. So if you say that's 10 to 20% of the space or whatever strategic space, you want that to actually happen. So the modelers with the advanced degrees and the math backgrounds and things like that really are a must and should be welcomed in the industry.